everybody. Once again, this is Fred Wanko coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Island TV. As usual, I'd like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, depending on where you are around the world. You like that title, don't you? It's a curious one, because in Nigeria, every time you say Igbos and Yorubas in the same sentence, the curiosity peaks. In this case, you may really need to sit back and listen, because I'm about bringing you some serious food for thought. Can Nigerians really get to a point where we take pride in saying fellow countrymen and women? And if we do take pride in saying fellow countrymen and women, can Nigerians really get to a point where they proudly benefit from learning from the experiences of other tribes? Or is our relationship simply guided by competition and tribalism, where even when other tribes do things well, other tribes are blinded to it because in their tribal pride, they cannot condescend to learn from a positive experience from another tribe? I stumbled into a video that was done by a young Yoruba man. That video blew me away in terms of teaching moments relative to regional collaborative building. But much as I like that video, and I hope that many of you do, but I also know that the stories I tell from that video is not one that will relate well with Igbos who believe in our way or no way, my way or no way. Because for them, they have a concept of how Igbo-ness should be. And if you think outside that realm, you are not a real Igbo person. The same applies to Yorubas who also believe in their way or no way, and anything that relates to the fact that something that has become proudly Yoruba today that may not have originated from their concept of Yoruba-ness has to be a lie, and they have to distort that story to bring it to where they want it to be. Those people are also not gonna they're not gonna mind what I say about the video, but they're not gonna like what the young man said in that video. I really doff my hat to him for putting this video together, because when he did, he really didn't realize that he was producing something that, if people really listen to the message beyond the message, it could help a lot of regions in Nigeria that are having conflicts with people that they should be the same people with. The lessons from this video may help rebuild collaboration between Igbos and Ijos and Ikweres and Ibibios and Efiks and the Igbo-related Urobos and Ichekiris, and no question about it, the Igbos in the Delta. If we could learn how to let everybody be, there's no room for dominating anybody. There's only room for collaborating with everybody That collaborative learning can start in this next video I'm about to play for you. And what this young Yoruba man did not realize was that in doing that video, he was putting together a video that could help all Nigerians in different regions learn how to collaborate. Kick back, relax, listen to this Yoruba young man talk. I learned so much from him. I strongly believe that you too can learn so much from him.
The word Yoruba is not a Yoruba word. I know that makes no sense, but you get what I mean. We didn't give ourselves the name Yoruba, and the word Yoruba means nothing in the language that we speak. In fact, in the pre-colonial days, there was no such thing as a Yoruba people. We had the Oyo, Egba, Ekiti, Ijebu, and what have you, but these guys never considered themselves the same people. They spoke different languages, although the languages had some similarities here and there. The people considered themselves separate nations. On several occasions, they even waged war against one another. What we have today as the Yoruba land is a creation of the missionaries and Ajayi Crowther, but we will come to that shortly. Now, some say the word Yoruba is from the Fulani word Yariba, and that it was the Fulanis who gave us that name. But that's not true. The word Yoruba has been used to describe the ancient people of Oyo for at least 200 years before Uthman Danfodio and his son Muhammad Bello came in contact with the word. Besides, the word Yariba means nothing in the Fula language, so it couldn't have been the Fulanis who gave us the name. The word Yoruba actually owes its origin to the Batonu people of Borgu. These people are also called Bariba or Ibariba by the Yoruba people. The Batonu people and ancient Oyo were neighbors, and today most of Benin Republic is occupied by the Batonu people. The Batonu word for the Oyo people was the word Yoru, and that's the singular form of the word. The plural form of the word is Yorubu or Yoruba. This name was also popular among the Songhai people, who were also neighbors to the Oyo and the Borgu people. The Songhai people occupies areas like Timbuktu, Sierra Leone, Niger Republic, and parts of Mali. Songhai, Borgu, and Oyo had deep cultural and historical ties. For instance, it was the Songhai people of ancient Mali that brought Islam to Yoruba land, which explains why the Yoruba word for Islam is Imole, the religion from Mali. These three civilizations, I'm talking about Borgu, Songhai, and Oyo, share several common vocabularies. For example, the Yoruba word Wundia happens to also be in the Batonu language as Wundia, and they have the same meaning, which means the word might not be an original Yoruba word. More examples include Yoruba words such as Alufa, Anfani, Borokini, Alafia, Suru, Fari, Alubosa, which all have Arabic and Songhai origins. It's obvious that the Fulani wrote Yoruba as Yariba because they wrote in Arabic, and Arabic does not have the vowel O. So the Fulani copied that word from the Songhai people, who also copied it from the Batonu people. And if the word Yoruba means anything in the Batonu language, that is lost today. But it was nothing derogatory as some people claim today. It was never meant to be an insult. But the people of Western Nigeria aren't called Yoruba today because the people of Borgu called them so. We have established the fact that the word Yoruba was used specifically for the people of Oyo. I said earlier that in the pre-colonial days, there was no such thing as a Yoruba people, meaning the people of Western Nigeria. It will interest you to know that Nigeria's first modern newspaper, which was launched in 1859, was called Iwe Iroyin fún àwọn Ẹ̀gbá àti Yoruba. Note that Egba àti Yoruba. That shows that the Egba saw themselves as different from the Yoruba people, the people of Oyo, but their languages were similar enough for them to have the same newspaper. How then did it happen that the people of Western Nigeria, including the Egba, are now called Yoruba today? It was Samuel Ajayi Crowther who actively worked to encourage the amalgamation of the groups in Western Nigeria, and he encouraged the people to adopt Yoruba as their endonym. Later on, Chief Obafemi Awolowo's Egbe Omo Oduduwa also helped to strengthen that idea of a Yoruba people. And then the Bible. The translation of the Bible played a very significant role in the unification of the modern day Yoruba people. In 1889, Ajayi Crowther produced the first Yoruba translation of the Bible. Since he was from Oyo and believed his language to be the Yoruba proper, the translation was based on the Oyo dialect, but with some modifications to include Egba and the dialect spoken in the coastal areas of Lagos. This new Yoruba then became the standard language for the people of Western Nigeria. The ability to read and write this new Yoruba became the ticket to Western education and the prerequisite for baptism and participation in other activities of the church. This new Yoruba is what we now call Yoruba Ajumolo. Nothing unites a people more than their language and their religion.
What can Igbos and our neighbors in the South learn from this. It's okay for our generation to be the pioneers in the process of uniting the Igbos and the Southerners. Our founding fathers have done their best. They've made their mistakes. We can't focus on trash coming from Asari, Dokubo. But we must be fair in also saying that we also have misguided people on the Igbo side that also talk the same trash. The agitating groups in Igbo land cannot run off and draw up illusionarily what they call the map of Biafra and include people who feel marginalized by you in the past, and you haven't resolved those issues with them, and you're drawing a map of Biafra that includes this massive region. If we collaborate with them and negotiate with them, there's no reason they wouldn't want to collaborate with the Southeast, because they have more things in common with the Southeast. But you don't force somebody into a region you are agitating to build when the person hasn't told you that they want to be affiliated with you. There are mistakes that were made in the past by our forefathers. Those mistakes need to be corrected. As long as there is no trust, you can't force people to be with you if they don't trust you. We need to go back and listen to what the young Yoruba man is saying in that video. And isn't it a beautiful thing for an Igbo man to be talking and saying that we can learn from what Yorubas did? Something Nigeria did not do at the end of the Civil War. At the end of the Civil War, Igbos were coming out of a Biafra where they built Obunigwe. They locally refined the oil that flew their airplanes and drove their cars. It was just the same way that during the Second World War, or at the end of the Second World War, America, knowing the kind of resistance they faced from Germany, even though Germany was surrounded by most of the world to destroy them, but they put up a good resistance. When the war ended, instead of America minimizing everything Germanian, pretending it didn't exist, America went and absorbed most of those German scientists. Russia did the same. If you go back in history to look at all the things that have been discovered in America, especially military technology superiority, it was because of the collaboration they had in American labs with German scientists that were absorbed by America and given citizenship at the end of the war. And today nobody says German scientists discovered those things. They say America discovered those things. If Nigeria had absorbed the scientists that came out of Biafra and put them into Nigerian labs to do research with other Nigerians and collaboratively build things. Doesn't have to be military might. Could be radios and televisions and cars and all that stuff. If they had absorbed those Biafran scientists, today, all those things that that collaborative effort with Nigerians would have done in Nigerian labs would have been things that make all Nigerians proud today. And when they talk about it outside Nigeria, they're not going to say it was built by Igbo scientists. They'll say it was built by Nigerians. What Yorubas did in building a Yoruba culture from people who had things that were not really tied together is a thing of beauty. Maybe you need to show Yorubas and the rest of Nigeria that you could copy something good from Yorubas and have it help enrich you for your own goodness. The Yoruba language you hear today was actually by adoption. They adopted a language and a dialect that works for them, gives them pride, and unites them. We have too many Igbos that think it's our way or no way. You have people from Aguleri telling you it all started in Aguleri. You have people from Ori trying to rewrite the history of Igbo land. You have my own people from Arochukwu who will tell you it's Arochukwu or nothing. And then you have the Onitsas who will tell you they are not really Igbos, they came from Benin. What makes a Bini person better than an Igbo person? And I'm not putting down Bini people. I love, Edo has rich culture. But if you are in Igbo land, what makes Bini better than Igbo? It's people who are confused. I don't mean Onitsha people. I mean Igbo people. It takes a real open-minded Nigerian to put together a video like this, giving credit to one group that is not mine and telling mine that they could learn from what this group is doing. And now, my parting shot to my fellow Igbos and to our neighbors in the South. Where can we find common ground? Where can we find our own Bishop Ajayi Crowther? It was Bishop Ajayi Crowther that built the collaborative structures that brought Yorubas together from people who were warring and killing each other to people who fight as one unit. Where can we find common ground? And then my parting shot to my Yoruba friends. It doesn't have to be Yoruba versus Igbo. It doesn't have to be Igbo versus Yoruba. What are we competing for? People are born with different talents. Yorubas can never have the resilience that Igbos have when it comes to traveling across Africa to live among different people comfortably. It's not your style. It's not a weakness. Igbos don't want to take over your land. And for Igbos, Yorubas really don't hate you. It's the rhetoric that comes from ignorant Igbos and ignorant Yorubas that creates the friction that the ones who are doing the right things also become victims of. As a country, as a people, as people who on paper call themselves fellow countrymen and women, let's learn how to emphasize more of the things that unite us and learn how to de-emphasize the things that divide us. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is Fred Nwanko coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bull Talk on Island TV. And until next time, good night and God bless.
This is a song for the new year and every day. I want you to sing it every day. It's a declaration. Búburú kan kò ní ṣubú lù mí. Àrùnkárùn kankan kò ní súnmọ́ ilé mi. Ìròyìn ayọ̀ létí mi yóò máa gbọ́. Lórúkọ Jésù, ire lójú mi yóò máa rí. Búburú kan kò ní ṣubú lù mí. Àrùnkárùn kankan kò ní súnmọ́ ilé mi. Ìròyìn ayọ̀ létí mi yóò máa gbọ́. Lórúkọ Jésù, ire lójú mi yóò máa rí. Bí mo bá jáde, ire ni